We're live.
All right, guys. Welcome back to another edition of TDS Live as we break down the BYU game from last week. And before we get into that, guys, want to remind you, Bulls Brewfest. It's benefiting the Irish between Irish 31 and the USF Alumni Association. Bulls Brewfest this Saturday, October 2nd at Irish 31 West Shore Plaza. Join Magic 94.9 and a stampede of Bulls fans for a special ramped-up indoor-outdoor Bulls bonus watch party with giant LED screens showing the game, local brewery sampling fall brews, Bulls ticket giveaways from Irish 31, tailgate games, and much more. Free admission and $10 sampling wristbands with 100% of the event proceeds going to the USF Alumni Association. Starts at 3 o'clock. It'll run through the end of the game. Be sure you're out there. Steve's going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And enjoy yourself. They've got some really cool drinks and drink specials. And this is going to be a fun night to kind of help the Alumni Association and Irish 31. And we love them. And let's kick it off, Seth. How are we doing tonight? Let's get into this film room. Lots of stuff to talk about tonight. Let's start with the not as great, and then we'll end on a high note because that's how the game ended itself. Let's tee up. It's the first defensive play of the game for USF, and let's kick it off here. What do we do?
All right, so just to look at the first play and kind of see how they were playing, what the plan was. You see that it's not like they're playing press man. There's four guys across the back. I think they're going to try to rotate him to the middle. They might be playing some type of 3 deep or some type of quarters look with this too high look here. But they're not playing man-to-man. So just because you're playing the run and keying the run doesn't necessarily mean you're loading the box. And so that's what you get when you're not playing man coverage and just kind of loading the box. When you get these formations where you get trips open, so no tight end trips, it's open, single receiver backside. You have to bring your linebackers out of the box, right, if you want to play too high safeties. So now you lighten the run box up. So right now you've got 4 down, 1 kind of hanging, splitting the difference between 3 in the tackle, and then 1 in the box, right? So it makes you a little more susceptible to the run game. Here, BYU runs an RPO. They run this quite a few times during the game, but it's just wide zone. And when you leave the box that light – now it's a little bit easier to run the ball. So first down, again, you have a chance to make a tackle, it looks like there. Don't quite make the tackle. Give up a big run on first down. Let's go ahead and loop these. All right, so then you come back here. So you can be you see the motion. This is something BYU wanted to do all night is run motion. Looked like get USF safeties to rotate back to the middle. And then kind of put eye candy in front of that safety, rotating in the middle. See if he'll jump down here, and then you take the post over the top. So this jet motion is like eye candy, keeps the safety kind of low. And if you are playing 3 deep here, which is what it looks like to me based on the corners where they're leverage and everything, rotating this safety to the middle, he's got to get depth, right? If you're playing 3 deep, unless they're playing some type of inverted 2 where the corners are playing deep halves. And you're letting the safeties come down and play, which they could be doing something similar to that. But what happens is your safety gets sucked in a little bit. He ends up playing the crosser. And so functionally down the field, and we said this last night, down the field doesn't matter if you're running man or zone. Deep down the field, it turns into man because it becomes a one-on-one proposition. So once this safety doesn't get depth, it turns into a man coverage basically on this post route because he's got no help inside. And you see it here from the back. The motion gets one safety to come down. He's starting to rotate in the middle of the field. And then selling this wide zone run fake holds these guys, and it kind of holds this safety's eyes where he may – and then this is what, you can't really tell without being in the room when it's called is I don't know if he's supposed to be getting back deep middle or if they are playing some kind of inverted 2. Either way – your safety's kind of flat-footed right here. He's going to see this crosser come, turn and run with that. And then he kind of notices, I think, late, oh, no, there's a post going over the top. And you don't have enough time to turn and get there. So they weren't in man coverage on this big play, and they weren't in one later. They were actually playing zone, and they got them out of it. So here's another look right here. Motioning, getting some rotation here out of the USF defense. And now you've got nobody on the edge over there, right? You got no corner out there for support. So this was a big part of the US or the BYU plan to attack USF was use motion on offense. Right here, it makes it look like split zone. He just kind of slips. This can be an RPO. Some teams run it like this, where he's going to come crack down here. Boyles does a pretty good job of almost avoiding this and about getting there to make the play. It just gets enough of him there to knock him off his path and makes it a tough tackle there for the first touchdown. So BYU had a really good plan, I think, and they did a lot of good stuff here. Again, right, I'm not necessarily playing man coverage. This could be a quarters look. It could be 3 where he's the run player and he's rotating back in the middle of the field. It's hard to tell exactly. I think they've got eyes on number 2 here. So if 2 shows run, you play for run, right? But on the outside, 30 yards down the field, it's man coverage. So if you lose on a stutter go and the guy makes a great throw, it looks like you're playing man, but not really. You're playing kind of quarters and trying to have these safeties play aggressive for the run.
Now, a question for the audience. So Matt Hill starts at 8 yards depth, and he gets to the line of scrimmage before he realizes.
So what? So
at what point do you just say kind of screw it and you try to get the quarterback because you're just so you're not going to affect the play if you just run back to where you were supposed to be, right?
Well, if they're playing like a true kind of quarter, there's a version of quarters, right, where these guys are basically reading number 2 to their side. So number 2 to his side is this tight end sitting here, right? You're really playing him. So if he shows run, I'm supposed to come down and fit for run, right? Same thing here. He shows run, I'm supposed to come down and fit for run. Once they recognize it's play action pass, then they're trying to get some depth here. But I think what they're being told is we're gonna play deep, we're gonna play top down. If it's run, trigger for run and help fit in the run game. The whole reason behind this quarters kind of defense, and this was something I think was really popularized by Virginia Tech initially with Bud Foster, is you can get 9 guys in the run game and also have 4 deep in the pass game. Really good play action can mess with those rules when this is kind of just old school reading number 2, right? So number 2 right here doesn't go out for a pass, so he's fitting for run. So he technically is not wrong. Now he's trying to get back, and once he sees pass, he's trying to just get back underneath something. Problem is, it's just a really good throw, and you lose outside. The throw is just kind of inch perfect. There's a replay I didn't get on here. Doesn't look like where you can see the ball is. I mean, just the ball is placed really well.
And we talked about it on the podcast. That's kind of what USF gambled on, right? Between Florida, the week prior and struggling against FAU in the passing game, and then now you've got a backup quarterback. You're kind of gambling on or betting on them not making those perfect throws. It just so happens back-to-back times that they've made just inch perfect throws, as you said.
That's not helpful, right? When the backup's coming in and dropping one of these on you, where your guys are not bad. He's beaten by a step, but the ball is placed like almost perfectly to where his arm comes up and he just kind of misses it barely. So those are the kind of chances you're taking. Now, this is one of the ones I think Jeff Scott mentioned right here. You got a 4th and goal right here. This is the one. The next one coming up. You see here, this one you kind of get over the top here. You almost kind of keep him out here. The 4th and goal coming up, you see they have 2 or 3 guys with a shot at it. So, the encouraging thing about that is it's not really encouraging because they score, but you're not really getting blown off the ball a lot this year like we saw last year against like Notre Dame So these guys, even though they're not huge up front, they're not getting rolled off the ball in some of these short yardage situations. So you go down 14, you go for it on fourth down. This is kind of a little RPO that BYU like to run, where they're running wide zone in here, and then these guys are running hitches out here. USF actually covers it up pretty good here, but they're so concerned with this wide zone that this whole side kind of collapses and lets Romney just take off. There's nobody left for him, really, right?
Right.
So it's kind of it's unfortunate. I'm sure there's a bust there, but when you got to play that wide zone, it makes it really tough because that thing can cut all the way back. So you don't want to kind of just leave a huge gaping backside. You never want that.
I never want my backside gaping.
You never want a huge gaping backside. That's just the general rule. So here this is one you got because you got a kind of a blitz called on. You got some movement here, and you kind of get a guy free to the quarterback. If you can kind of make this play in space or kind of keep your leverage there on the quarterback, don't let him get outside you. If you're kind of able to keep that leverage and keep him in the pocket there, you win a little bit with movement right here. You just kind of let him get outside your contain there, and he's able to scamper around for another first down. When the play call, you kind of get exactly what you're hoping to. Movement across, and he's going to come up. He's going to come around, but I think once he sees this tight end comes out, he locks on. But you get one free, and then your second one's coming free too. Unfortunately, he just kind of evades you in the pocket and is able to make something happen with his feet. Another look at the motion here. Motion, getting him in the box, and now they're going to arc release him for the backer. He's going to come back. So they must have seen something on tape with motion and how they rotated to motion that kind of gave them these kind of looks. Because this is a look they went to a ton of just motioning the guy across. Here again. So here's the 4th and goal. That's tough right here. I mean, this is kind of exactly what you want. Looks like they're supposed to kind of read him. The quarterback probably should have kept it here. You're there. It looks like if he doesn't make the play, you got somebody else to come up and make it. And he just kind of slides off there. So what would have been a pretty important keeping them out of the end zone there, and in the final score, 7 points would have been pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, those are just a couple of disheartening tackle attempts, to say the least. And I mean, I want to make perfectly clear that I cannot do any better.
Yeah,
but I am also not on scholarship.
Yeah. My wonder here is, did he squeeze down a little too far here? It looks like Boyles is coming into the same gap, and they almost hit each other. Right? They look like they're basically in the same gap here. And maybe if he's a little bit wider, and I don't know if either one of them screwed up or if it just kind of happened like that, right? If he's a little wider, now you've got this thing pretty much stoned at the line of scrimmage. You still have a chance. He just kind of slips out there, and then he kind of slips out again there. So there's a chance to kind of get off the field.
And that is why they're live tackling this week.
Yeah, that's correct, right? So here, right? Same little RPO they ran earlier where Romney took off. Right here, you kind of respect the quarterback a little bit more, and now you get a lot of movement, and it opens up this zone. So that's what makes wide zone teams like BYU's run this wide zone. Here's kind of the same thing. Again, you have guys close to being in position here. Mims does a good job right here, kind of splitting a double team. Just wasn't quite able to get to the tackle. And then you get him into the second level, and this guy runs really hard. And so in second 18, or maybe if you basically hold him to 10 or less yards, you're going to get him in 3rd and long. Really got a good chance to get yourself off the field. Doesn't happen. And then here, this is just kind of put this in because, they're obviously not playing man if you're going to play off this much, right? This isn't man coverage. They're giving kind of a soft – this is kind of what you're going to have to live with if you don't want to play aggressively, right? So all the people that kind of are like, let's not play man coverage, well, this is what you're going to see a lot of. You have to rally and tackle. They rallied and tackled there. But they can do that all the way down the field. And then you kind of get in this compressed zone and you have to play man. And this is kind of a good play call here, kind of crossing you up a little bit, getting you to really play hard for this. And then you kind of see that come across and it gets in your vision and holds you. And then he comes across back late. So well-designed play there. And again, a pretty good throw. This is not like in front of him. If that's a little bit behind him, the DB's got a chance to make a play on it.
Well, what's Aaron Rodgers says, if he can see the back of the defender's helmet, his guy's open. I think that's a pretty good rule.
Yeah, that's what you'll see guys sometimes, especially even throw down the middle of the field. If they can see the defender's back, they're like, okay, he can't see the ball, so that counts as open for me. Here's another one. You got a chance to make a tackle, and again, you said, like you said, they're live tackling this week for a reason. But just the same kind of stuff, motions. And this is pretty much similar to the first one. Motion, get the safeties to play to kind of rotate down, rotate to the middle, see this thing coming across. There's some eye candy. Take that one, and now we got the other one is the real shot, right? So well executed plan here.
Like, at what point, like, as a defender, as the deep safety, do you start to think, okay, this guy isn't the guy that's going to beat me. I need to be 5 yards deeper. Like, where's that? Where do you strike that balance of, I don't want to let this guy just cross my face and gain 25.
Yeah,
but there's probably a deep hitter because this is. I'm seeing it enough. Yeah. I've seen it enough that there's something 30 yards behind me.
I think what they were doing a pretty good job of, and I think what USF went to a little bit more is maybe some more three safety stuff where you just move one guy down and you still keep a guy in the middle. That kind of hurts you in the run game. But what I think the biggest problem is they're making them rotate. So a guy's already kind of down, and now he's having to rotate back, and the ball's being snapped as he's rotating. So it's kind of natural. The first thing that crosses, I'm rotating back. It's hard to tell what my depth is. Something crosses my face. It's really hard for me just to turn and sprint, back deep middle. So that motion really kind of just caught them a couple times and made it hard to get that deep safety back to the middle. So I think it was a pretty good design on the offensive side. And that's why I think later you see USF play a little bit of like three safety stuff. So when they motion, this guy can come down and he can still stay in the middle. So you don't have to worry about that as much. So
here,
go ahead.
Versus SMU, there's so many talented receivers that they have, and they'll run motion because they're seeing on film. If there's two safeties and they rotate or they're bringing a corner across as well, that confuses the defense quite a bit. How can USF kind of combat that? I know the three safety look, but as you mentioned, you can't run three safeties out there forever because you'll just get just run to death. So what else can you do?
And maybe not as much like single high stuff, maybe some two high stuff, and you just have to adjust your coverage and bump on backers and stuff underneath. Also, I don't know how fast. I haven't watched a ton of SMU. I don't know how. There are some teams that just don't motion very much. They like to go really fast, so they just kind of line up and want to get lined up and go fast. And so I'm not sure how much SMU does motion. BYU does a ton, shifting, motioning, using a lot of tight. They're a little bit more like pro style, I'd say, like the modern pro game with motioning and things like that. I'm not sure if SMU's like that or not. But you can kind of have a more static safety structure and not kind of rotate with motion and travel. Here was one that I think they're playing three. He's rolling down. If he would just kind of – here he comes down. If he kind of would just – I think he's trying to decide, should I – he's waiting for the receiver to break. If he just kind of comes down and breaks on this thing a little quicker, which is, easy to say after the fact – he's got a chance to make a play on that ball. And then here you just got to, like we talked about, live tackle. Just, hey, this is what you got to do. If you want to play off a little bit more and kind of take and make people work the way down the field and not take the deep shots over the top, all right, we want to take that away or to make people work for it, well, then you got to come up and tackle. So, which, as we've said a couple of times, is why they're working live tackling this week.
Yeah, that 1st and 10 that should have been a 2nd and 6 is now another 1st and 10, and they're kind of cruising.
And then this is the tough part if you want to play zone and only rush 3. Well, now the quarterback's got all kinds of time, even though you win there. He still has plenty of time for kind of the route to develop here. And hits kind of his second read in the intermediate window there, kind of behind the one DB in front of another. Again, here, this is just like if you're only going to rush 3, you're going to give these guys a lot of time. So you just have to kind of mix it up. Then right here, you get a nice stop on 3rd down.
When has a goal line fade ever worked?
Back in the mid-'90s with Spurrier and Danny Werfel. He was really good at them, but yeah, they haven't worked in a while.
Like those goal line plays for BYU, I think 2nd down was just nearly as atrocious. Those were 2 very confusing plays from BYU. I loved it as a USF fan, but they really made me scratch my head. Like, why are you running a fade on 3rd and goal?
Yeah, I don't know. To your tight end.
I mean, my Atlanta, and then here's the blocked field goal by Darian Grant, who got up there to block that kick.
So it's nice to see, right? We just saw this has obviously not been the best game for the defense. They're still playing hard, getting up, blocking the kick. They very well could have just packed it in and let it go. They block it. Now give the offense a chance to go down the field, score, and make a game out of it. And then this is at the end of the game. Here, this is kind of whatever. But this one here, you have a 3rd and 1 here. And you got a chance to make a play, almost looks like, just not quite able to get there. If you're able to hold there, they got to probably, they either go for it or attempt a field goal. They attempt a field goal and miss it. Now you got the ball with a chance to go down and score. But let's get to some more good stuff. This one didn't start too good either, but it got pretty good by the end of the night here. So let's look at the offense. BYU's not a ton of blitzing, but 3rd and long, sometimes you'll see a blitz on 3rd and long, even from teams that don't like to bring it a ton, just because it's going to force you to get the ball out of your hands really quickly, and they'll just rally and tackle. Because if you throw a 5-yard pass, well, you still got to get 13 yards to pick up this 3rd and 18, right? So USF catches them in a great play call here. They're going to run a screen. And this is actually right here. This is, you got him for him, and then he's for the safety that's left, right? But unfortunately, you see here, the ball is just a little behind Mangum here. If he's able to catch this clean, because he avoids this, but the problem is he had to slow down, so this guy's gotten a little bit closer, right? If that ball's caught clean, Mangum's probably here by now. And now these 2 do a good job. Look at Xavier Weaver blocking this guy 20 yards downfield. You pick up 14 when this thing could have gone for quite a good play right here. Definitely a 1st down, it looks like. You had the right call. So if I don't have to turn my body, if I can just catch it and get vertical right now, I think you still make this guy miss. And then you're kind of off to the races there. You may not get touched until you hit the 1st down marker. Unfortunately, come up 4 yards short, you got to punt. All right. The 2nd possession, 3rd and 9. This is we skipped the 2nd possession because that just kind of ends the 4 and fumble. 3rd possession, 3rd and 9 here. Right. We talked about BYU's didn't bring a ton of pressure. They're rushing 4 here. So you've got 7 guys dropping deep. What did we see in that North Carolina State game? Maybe force a couple right here. Hey man, I'm cool with this. Just take off. And this poor number 91. This is some quick twitch right here. That poor guy had no chance.
Absolutely no shot.
Yeah, so that's that kind of special part right there, right? This is kind of a crazy throw. We talked about maybe dropping it to the back, right? So you see here, he's going to kind of come and sit in front of this guy. He's going to go behind these guys and run like a deep dig. He's going to run like a flare. 2nd and 9. He sees him kind of playing this and wants to hit that. He ends up making a really good throw here. I mean, this is an insane throw, really. Just kind of backing up, kind of flicking it back over some guys. Great throw. But he could also take this one, too, out here if he wanted to. And that's what you were talking about at halftime.
Right.
Just drop it to him. The safer play, just drop it here, let that guy run. I think anytime you get the ball to these backs in space, all of them seem like they're pretty good in space. So dropping it down, an easy throw can turn into a really big gain, I think, with the group of running backs they have. But this is just an unbelievable throw over a linebacker in front of a safety, getting hit. Great throw, great catch here by Weaver. Pick up a big first down.
And he's able to get, some yak after that as well.
Yep.
So, I mean, just all around good job.
Yeah. 4th and 3 here. And again, like this is the big, not the worry, but this is this week the new thing, right? I don't know if SMU is going to bring 3 like this. These poor 3 didn't have a chance with him, but they were chasing him all over the field. They were dead. You see 91 just pulls up here. It's just like, I'm done. Like, I've already run 75 yards on this play. I'm good. He thinks he's got a shot right here, and you can see right here he just goes, never mind. We'll get it next time. So right here, what the play was, I believe it's mesh right here. You got to get this off a little cleaner. It kind of gets jammed here, but you'll see the window if he's able to get off clean here. And what I think Timmy's looking for is he's hoping that he's got Weaver running 100 miles per hour right here as these guys widen out. Right? Unfortunately, he comes through a little late. It looks like he's already come off of it. Right? But if that was cleaner, he probably hits Weaver in stride there and lets him run. But good job, again, not forcing it. You only need 3. Pull it down, pick it up. And these just kind of the more you do this, the more defense just gets demoralized. You can imagine those guys running around forever and not even touching him. It's got to be rough if they're going to ask you to rush the passer a ton and you don't even get a hand on the guy. So it looks like he's looking for this back here. This seemed to be a concept they liked a lot, where it looks like he's got a dig backside. He's to the flat. Number 3 guy goes vertical. And both these guys seem to run like 5-yard ends. I don't know if he's supposed to break it off on like levels or if they're just letting him take the top off and just trying to get that guy out of there vertically. Not sure, because you don't really want the 2 digs running into each other right there, I wouldn't think. But you see these kind of 5-yard ends here. This is one where I think maybe he could sit in there a little bit longer here. Maybe he sees this coming and thinks he's going to come free. But right there, I think he wants to throw that. You can either try to fit it in that window right now, but that's good. I wouldn't throw that, right? Take point, don't force it down here.
Yeah, that's.
But if I'm able to come here, maybe I can find him late. But I think at this point he feels kind of the pocket collapsing a little bit. He starts to take off, tries to find Weaver late across the middle. This is probably one he'd like to. The coaches would be like, do not throw this one. Like right here, just take off, get what you can get. Don't throw that thing back late across. That's where all these tip balls can happen. It almost worked out in your favor, but it could also work it could work against you as well, right?
Exactly.
So 2nd and 20, they're going to pull backside guard and tackle. This thing's blocked up really well. You get a nice down block here from Brinkman. And then from the back, this looks really good. Down. Your guard does a good job of kind of finding work. Typically, the guard's coming in kicking the end man, right? But they watch that thing down so hard there's nobody left. The guard gets vertical, does a good job right there. Great cut by Mangum. Then the tackle is kind of able to get to the third level there on a safety. And that sets you up for a third and 4. So instead of being 3rd and 20, 3rd and 15, you're 3rd and 4, and now you're able to easily convert because this guy is I don't think they still haven't touched him. So, yeah, this is always helpful. Right here when your guy can do this. Sorry, number 33.
Like Timmy McClain being, put in as starter is probably going to get all the headlines. But Dustin Hall at right guard, that's the play, right? That's the guy at right guard for the rest of the year.
I think he's done a good job, and I think the more he plays, the better he'll get too.
I know Stieg was high on him last year and was kind of curious of why he didn't get a lot of run. And now we're seeing it. Just got called in the 6th starting offensive lineman, but I think there's just 5. And Michael Wiggs is he's now the swing guard, so to speak.
And also more carries for Mangum. He is, I kind of thought hearing about him, the way they talked about him in the preseason. Kept talking about, he's the big back, he's our big back. So you think, okay, this guy's just going to be a big stiff guy that can run downhill. He's really good in space. He's got really good vision. I was surprised with how smooth he is, but he also can run hard and pick up these tough yards like he does here. 2nd and 3, gets hit in the hole, keeps his balance, picks up the first down. Good job here of kind of, again, it looks like he wants to throw something, but he doesn't force it. Doesn't like it. Pull the ball down. Keep your eyes downfield. And then a good job here. I believe this is Dollison coming back to the ball, making himself available to the quarterback. Good throw, low and away. Nice catch.
Our favorite player.
Yeah, that's right. So right here, this is probably, I think Coach Scott said he had a couple misreads, but not many. I think this might be one of them. It looks like they're running RPO. Just hitches here with some type of inside zone. I would guess his eyes are here. I don't know, maybe he was looking here, and so he pulls it, but it's really this guy's the conflict because this guy probably doesn't have pass responsibility if this guy's right behind him, right? So who's in conflict? That's RPO is about putting a guy in conflict, right? So to me, he'd be the conflict guy. So he doesn't move. So right here, this should be a give. So let's imagine it's a give, and let's watch these guys work right here. Right there, he gives that. Mangum's got a nice hole right there for a pretty good play. Probably picks up the first down, maybe more. So if that was an RPO, which it's hard to tell exactly, I think it is based on how guys are getting downfield. Could be hard play action, but if that's an RPO, that's probably one you want to give. But he didn't make too many mistakes. Split zone, bringing the tight end back across. So everybody's stepping right. Tight end's coming back, kicking out the end man. You see a nice double team right there. The guy you just mentioned, Hall. Then DeMontre Jacobs out there getting some work.
I mean, that's a nice jump cut to get out there, and then another one to put his foot in the ground and get upfield for that first down.
Yeah, he's
foot in the ground, first down.
He's a great zone back because he's got really good feet for being as big as he is, and he's got, like you said, that jump cut. Really, I've been really impressed with him. He's probably not the fastest guy in that group, but he's really good and really good at getting vertical in the run game and has really good feet too. So I'm thinking this is the Hank concept. So it's kind of a West Coast concept where it's basically curl flat. So you'll see curl. This guy curls over the ball, flat, and you can work kind of over the ball to the curl. So right here, obviously he's got the guy over the ball. This flat route widens him out. So you're going to stick it right on the receiver right there. Good read, quick read. Easy throw for a first down. Good quick decision. Put it on him. Give him a chance to do something after the catch.
And just really impressive by DeMarcus Gregory, who hadn't really gotten a lot of run through the first 3 games, and then kind of turned it on. I think he ended up with 4 catches for 58 yards, and then on that long fourth quarter drive, I think he came away with a couple catches as well, including one like out of the back of their own end zone. So I like to see that. Yeah. I know. Charlie Weiss was high on him during their media session this week. So good to see him kind of get some run and prove effective.
Yes, and then this is that same concept we were talking about before, where they're bringing kind of a dig from the backside, and then on this front side, you got number 3 going vertical, and the 2 outside guys running the 5-yard ends. So right here, he comes all the way backside. It looks like it could be a post backside, and maybe he just likes the, it's hard to tell. I think it's just straight play action, right? It's not – these guys aren't getting downhill, right? So, like, when you're trying to decide if it's RPO or play action, are the linemen going downhill? If you see them pass setting like this, it's probably just straight play action. So right here, he's got this. And then he comes back to either a dig or a post. Really well thrown ball. Great catch in traffic. You know you're going to take a hit. Maybe could have been targeting there. I don't know. I'm not a referee, but good throw, good catch, another first down. Right here, great cut. You kind of hold the line of scrimmage here. He's cut loose because you don't really have anybody for him. Great job. I believe this is Joyner getting in the game. This is a great job sticking his foot in the ground. You only need 2 yards. Stick your foot in the ground, get vertical. Great job. You got the first down. Again, 2nd and 1. Good. You see the jump cut back here and then the ability to get vertical. Really good job by you, Nate, pointing out these jump cuts because this is not easy right here.
And at 6'2", 210 or 220, like that's nimble for a big boy at running back. So I think we're going to see a lot of that, and it's going to be. I think he's going to bust one of these, and it's going to be from a jump cut, and he just pops through the hole.
Yeah, because you see these safeties come up to fit, and he just sticks his foot in the ground and gets up inside. Really well designed play right here. I think he might have had the option to throw this.
It did look like he kind of had the ball
like an out, right?
Yeah, it looked like he was looking, and then it's like, screw it, I'll just do it. Like so there,
right here, it looks like
at the hash mark. I felt like he kind of carried it a little bit, like
he was maybe able to throw it. But I think this is a good decision. And then watch what happens up here. He realizes he ain't throwing this thing. He turns and blocks, which is great to see, right? So he turns there and just like, all right, I'm gonna shield him then.
And takes out 2 guys.
Right here. That's right. Excellent call. 45 is like I've just been chasing that quarterback all day, and I got to chase this guy. He about quits by the time he hits the goal line. He's like, come on, dude. Like, for real.
I mean, just look. I mean, can we go back and pause it right as Xavier gets the pitch? Look at all the eyes frozen on the left side of that field. Like, that is – oh, my gosh. The wall that is created right now.
He's got him man, too, right there. And then the only reason his eyes are back here is because he's got him man. Everybody else's eyes trying to fight over the top. He's just kind of saw it, but he's got no chance. Sorry, 33.
And, I get they took basically back-to-back timeouts in that possession, but you needed to get that play right, and they freaking nailed it.
Yeah, if you're going to call them, you better score it. You better get a touchdown out of it. Great call.
And they they were 2 for 2 out of that. I wouldn't have challenged that 3rd and goal down there in the fourth quarter. I would have just kept it in my belt because you got an extra down. But they scored out of that as well. So you can't fault them too much.
Yeah, right here, just kind of get split right here. But good job by the back. Like you said, getting away from this dude. Cut, stick your foot in the ground. Now get vertical. You need 2 yards. Good hard running right there.
And that's something USF's kind of lacked over the last few years. It's a back who gets hit, but he's falling forward and still gains yards for you. Charlie Weiss talked about this week. He gets hit after 2 yards, but he's gaining 6 because he's falling forward and he's keeping those legs churning. That's what you want to see. And Scott Atkins, I don't think I've ever been so impressed by a play called by USF in a while. That 4th and goal changed that. Yeah, it was
a great call.
It was a really, really good call, and I'm excited that this is what the shades of what it could be. We're starting to see that, and I said in the podcast this week, don't take the result of SMU as gospel. Look for what we're showing you guys right here. It's the progress. It's the brick by brick mentality. SMU is just another otherworldly team on offense that USF's going to have a really tough time against. But if you can start seeing this improvement throughout the game like we have been, then that's good going into the bye week, going into basically a 4 straight weeks where you can actually win some games in the conference and maybe steal a game or two because you're just building the program, building the foundation. And it just so happens your 4 hardest games happened in the first 5 weeks of the season.
Yeah, they're not going to get a tougher stretch during the year. We all thought that maybe that end stretch would be really tough, but I think it's pretty apparent this was the tough stretch. So if you can kind of take these lessons out of it and use these to improve yourself throughout the year, you can pick up some wins, I think, in the second half. Here's that same concept. So we talked about it a little bit at halftime of the game on our halftime show. If you guys are watching this, for every away game, we do a pregame, halftime, and postgame show. We talked about kind of simplifying it a little bit, making it kind of, I can play action, 1 read, a little bit easier, right? This is obviously a concept Timmy likes. They've hit this a ton. Right here, play action is not there right away. He's able to scramble. I think this is the one that's just a laser beam down Good catch there by Weaver. Good job of coming back to the ball, right? We saw what Weaver's route was. He was probably running the dig or the post. It depends. So he was coming to the middle of the field. He recognizes the scramble drill right here. Obviously, they've repped this in practice. He breaks back to the sideline. McLean keeps his eyes downfield. That's a really well-thrown ball on the run. Good catch.
And it's a dart, right? It's a catch radius thing, and that's Jeff's car. I mean, you see like the coaches talk about this, and then when you watch the film back, you're like, "Yep, I am seeing it too." And he's talking about putting the ball on the wide receivers' frames every single time, and that's what he was doing in this game. He's putting the receivers in the best position possible to catch the ball, and that's what he did. I think there was the one incompletion in the second half where. Xavier had a chance to come down with that ball. It was on his frame, right, and in the end zone. So it's that consistency is what excites us at least for this. And Nick asking about if we can make a bowl game. I just want to quickly kind of go over the next 4 weeks after the bye week. So you get SMU this week. You get a bye week, rest up, learn from what you learn from these first 5 games where you're playing really tough.
And get some guys back healthy on defense.
And then you go Tulsa at home, Temple at home, a Thursday night at ECU, and then Saturday, November 6th is home for Houston. Houston is up in the air, right?
Houston and ECU are both so up and down. You never know what you're going to get.
Like Houston was put to the brink by Navy last week, and Navy looks Like they haven't shaken that 2020 season off yet. And then, you close out with Cincinnati and then at Tulane at UCF. A bowl game's probably a stretch, but you could steal 5 games at the rest of the way. You could feasibly, after SMU, go 4-3 the last 7 games. It's not out of the realm of possibility. So that's the bright side. You knew that there was going to be tough end. You knew you had the NC State and the Florida game, but I mean BYU and SMU are proving to be just as tough as they were last year. Even with the talent that left them, they replaced them with just as good, if not better, talent. I won't say Zach Wilson's a bum by any measure, and Jaron Hall and Baylor Romney are bad or anything like that, but just you're not lucking out with the new quarterbacks that the other teams have brought in.
No.
Which is super unfortunate. Florida was kind of breaking in a new quarterback, and they got 2 really good ones. BYU breaking in a new quarterback, and then the backup was really good. And then SMU replaced Shane Buechele with Tanner Mordecai. And I mean, just the toughest of breaks of basically every team that you've played has hit on their new quarterback this year.
And NC State's quarterback missed most last year with an injury, so you weren't quite sure if he would come back at full strength. He did. So, but I mean, after this week, unless USF wins, which you never know. You hear there might be weather, but you're probably going to have played 4 top 25 teams after this week. Out of your 4 FBS opponents, all of them would be top 25. That's tough. So you think the second half would be a little bit easier. Anyways, 1st and goal. Just again a nice little cut there by Mangum. Good job by the offensive line. Just giving him a little seam there.
And like Dustin Hall, like he gives up some yards, but he kind of it's a stalemate, right? It doesn't really affect it. I think they may have tried to go up the A gap, but Jaren's his vision's been so good through the first 4 games that he's able to bounce it outside for a walk-in touchdown where he can high step and kind of celebrate.
And this is good here. He kind of invites him upfield, gets him wide, and then they're able to work this double team. And this is what you get when guys play together for a while. This kind of stuff is what you're trying to get to. Watch how he comes off. This is a hard guy to get to, but doesn't go in too big of a hurry. Kind of helps here first, and then is able to get to him without leaving the center on an island against this guy. And then you just make a little seam for your running back, and he walks through.
Gutsy. I mean, a truly gutsy call right here. Back of your own end zone. Play action, first play after the blocked field goal, and you're throwing a freaking dart across the middle of the field to DeMarcus Gregory. Just ballsy play call by Charlie Weiss. I would have bet some good money that it was going to be a run on first down, and then Timmy puts it right on DeMarcus Gregory, makes a great catch, gets him out of the back of their own end zone.
And I'm guessing that's what I'm guessing if you're Weiss, that's what you're thinking. That's what they're thinking too, right? They're probably thinking, all right, they're backed up inside the 10. They got a freshman quarterback. They're going to run the ball and try to get out of here. So what's great if the other team thinks you're going to run, call a play action, leave the tight end in here for protection. Simple route combination. If this corner's off, I can kind of take this throw out here if I want it, or I got this one-on-one. If this guy's filling for the run, he fills. Good throw. In stride right here, right? Not behind him.
In stride on the frame.
Give him a chance to catch it and run with it. And now you're not backed up anymore, which is big, right? Here's looks like just kind of a simple, not quite curl flat, but a similar concept. He's vertical. He looks like he's running almost a dig, and he'll sit. And then he's the flat player. You're really looking vertical to clear this guy out. If he doesn't, then you can take a shot there. And then hope if he's playing deep, then you're kind of eyeing this guy. Does he widen with the flare? If he does, throw the dig, which is what happens here. You see him kind of push, but he's widening. Route here by Weaver, just getting right behind him. McLean throws it on time. That's all you need. Run him out with this guy, widen him with the running back. There's the hole. Put it on him with good timing. Right, if you're late here, these guys can get back in the play. If you throw it on time and on target, it's tough to stop. And again, that's a simple read. That's something I called a ton as a coach in high school. Not a difficult read, but it's a tried and true concept that you'll see running the pros. You'll see running Pee Wee football, basically a curl flat, and using a guy inside to hold the safety. Easy read, but really well executed there in a pressure spot this last drive here. Here's Joyner getting into the game a little bit again. So you got the kind of inserting the tight end here. You can kind of follow that. Joyner kind of sees it. You got a little bit of push here, so he cuts back, and then he does a great job here of kind of seeing this seam, and that's the advantage those smaller backs give you, right? They kind of get lost, and then they just explode. Right here, good job coming off this block. Gets skinny through that hole, picks up a nice first down. Then here looks like you have some type of free access out here where if this corner's off, maybe you don't like it because of this guy hanging out there. But if they're playing off, he can probably catch this happen and turn and just throw it out there if he wants to. But good decision, hand it off. And a good hard run, get you close to the mid 50-yard line there. 3rd and 1 here. You got to have it. Again, falling forward, like you mentioned, right? Good hard run.
Absolute pancake by
two
Chris
tight
Carter.
ends. 2 tight ends, and then Chris Carter. He's been smoking people in the run blocking game all year. You're seeing a little bit more 12 personnel. So they're changing their personnel groupings up a little bit. Not a ton, but enough to let you get a different look. Here they're going wide zone, and he's just coming to cut off the backside there. I think Mangan does a really good job of this, setting it up and then getting vertical.
Another one. I mean, good golly. And then finishing the run.
Yeah.
Got hit at the first down marker and gets another 2 yards. I mean,
right. You're just trying to get on wide zone, and so you'll see this a ton at the NFL level now. It's like the Shanahan stuff, right? The McVay stuff, the wide zone. You're trying to get kind of horizontal displacement. Once the back gets the seam, stick his foot in the ground and get vertical, right? So they do a good job of getting horizontal displacement. They get one lost here, and he's climbing for the next one. That's a great job. I think that's Jacobs right there. Right there, bang, stick your foot in the ground. Get vertical. Great job. Then again, get hit, fall forward for 2 more yards. So this is a really good job. Stick your foot in the ground, get vertical, run through some people for a first down. 4th and 1. Again, this is not like finesse right here. You just got to get downhill and make it happen. Is it super clean? No, it's not super clean, but that's kind of why you brought this guy in a little bit, is for these kind of situations where it's not going to be clean, but he's still going to push his feet forward. You can see it's hard to see, but his feet are still pumping down there. Gets a good spot, you get a first down. Here's that same concept again. Vertical. Again, off play action. Right there. And this is a really good throw. I mean, it's over him. This is really, really, really big time. And this is one of his last – I think this might be his last throw of the game.
Yeah, I believe it is. Really good throw.
Get you down the end zone. Man, if you could have snuck in there, it looks like he kind of double catches it a little bit. If he catches this one first time, maybe he's able to kind of sneak in here real quick. And now clock's a little different.
You got that timeout still.
Timeout left, right? So little margins are thin, but great job catching it, getting down to the 1 there. And then it takes 4th down. But now you kind of use BYU's move against them, little motion here, bringing the human wrecking ball, Chris Carter, from the other side. Sticks it in there. Then you got your true freshman here who is not really afraid, and he's into the game. So, rough start, but really good finish.
Yeah, and that's the game, the play-by-play kind of improvement that you want to see, game by game, brick by brick. I mean, I'm going to be blue in the face saying that all year, but this is what we want to see. Again, can't really harp on how tough these first 4 games have been.
No,
and
not just like talent level, but different styles.
Right.
North Carolina State is different from Florida. It's a lot different from BYU, who all are going to be a lot different than SMU. So it's a really tough thing to match, and that'll be my biggest thing that I'm looking forward to seeing on Saturday is how do they handle, because I think SMU stylistically is going to be a lot different than BYU on defense. BYU is a little more sit back in the passing game, maybe let you get some of those intermediate throws that, McClain went 10 for 11 in the second half. Like you give him those, he's going to make the throws. See, the guy can throw the ball. He's not just a runner, right? Is SMU going to sit back and let him have those, or are they going to try to bring pressure? That'll be the difference, and that'll be interesting to see because it'll be a totally different defense than you saw last week. How do they respond? Are they still able to have the offense going like they did in the second half here? If so, I think that's a really good indicator for the rest of the year. If not, then we're kind of back to where we thought, but you're going to have these great games occasionally, but it's still a work in progress, right? So
exactly,
I don't know.
Exactly, I don't want. I just don't want the SMU result to be what everyone thinks about, right? It's they're a 20-point favorite for a reason. They're really, really good. I'll stand by that. I've got them winning. Fairly comfortably. I think I got them covering the spread in on the pod yesterday, and for good reason. They're really talented, and USF defensively is just really beat up. It's just a perfect storm, if you will, right before bye week to get this very talented SMU team coming into town, and with a pistol hot quarterback and with 7 receivers who have scored a touchdown receiving. I mean, it's 6 of those 7 receivers have at least 2 touchdowns through in the passing game. It's going to be really tough. It's going to be an uphill climb. You're going to have to play how you played in the second half, at least offensively, control the clock, milk it a little bit. You mentioned it on the podcast, Seth. If you don't sub, they can't sub. You can still do that up-tempo thing where you're, catching them off guard, catching them tired, but still, with still being controlled. And I think that's what you're going to need to see this weekend is playing fast but controlled and milking the clock for all it's worth.
Yeah, I think you can get up to the line really fast. You make them line up, don't allow them to sub, and now take your time. See what they're doing on defense. Get into what you think is the perfect play every time. That you take the full play clock. You also get yourself in a really good play, you think. And then you keep those guys, you keep their guys on the field. And then if they do try to sub in, maybe you throw in some fastballs and you go really fast and try to catch them. But that's a way you can control the tempo of the game. I think they're going to try to control it on offense by going really fast, I would imagine. But you can kind of control it the other way. Just stay in the same grouping if you have to. Get up to the line of scrimmage, and then kind of take your time from there. If you do that, you can hold the ball and still be you're still no huddle. You're still getting lined up fast. You can still play fast, but you also get to control the game a little bit too. So I'll be interested to see if you go to that. And then the other variable is there's kind of word that it might be really bad weather this weekend at the game. Both teams have run the ball pretty well recently. I know SMU's been pretty good at it, so I don't know if that favors anybody in particular. But usually bad weather you think would favor the underdog. or help keep it a little closer. But we'll see. I don't know. What do you think? Who do you think that favors if the weather gets nasty?
I still think they're still going to be able to kind of sling the ball around a little bit. Maybe they're not taking as many deep shots, but the short passing game can be an extension of the run game, and I think it can favor SMU just because of how many guys that they can trot out there, and their running game is still really good. They're averaging 5.8 yards a carry, over 230 yards a game. Like, this is just a super balanced offensive attack.
Yeah.
So even if the weather is not great and Tanner Mordecai is maybe throws for 200 yards instead of 300 yards, I think the ground game's still going to be able to carry them through to the finish line. And will 2.5 days of live tackling solve USF's missed tackle problems?
Fingers crossed.
And now you've got to do that in a rainstorm. I would hope that the rain would help USF, but the logical part of me says that it's still going to be an uphill climb regardless of weather.
I'd rather see perfect weather. I think you're going to get the most out of the game with that. You can really see where you're at. You don't fool yourself into thinking, oh, you know what? We played them really close when it's just like a slop fest. You really understand where you're at going into the bye week and where you're at in terms of your conference, because I think SMU is going to be – it looks like they're going to be near the top of the conference. So
right,
you get that. You play them well, that you kind of see where you're at. So
absolutely. Is there anything else you want to kind of touch on before you kind of wrap up this really fun show? I mean, it's the most I think the most positive outlook that we've had, and it was coming off a loss, but there was a lot of good things to discuss.
Yeah, I felt better after this game about the direction of especially the offense than I did after the FAMU game where they won and scored a ton of points. I thought this performance against this team in that environment was much more indicative, hopefully, of what you're going to see in the future. And if that is true, then you got to feel pretty good about what's coming down the road here for USF.
I agree there, Seth. And, for everyone, thanks for joining. Just a quick reminder, Irish 31 and the USF Alumni Association will host Bulls Brewfest this Saturday, October 2nd at Irish 31 West Shore Plaza. It starts at 3 o'clock. It will run through the end of the game. Join Magic 94.9 and a stampede of Bulls fans for a special ramped-up indoor-outdoor Bulls bonus watch party with giant LED screens showing the game. Local breweries sampling fall brews, Bulls ticket giveaways from Irish 31, tailgate games, and much more. It's free admission with a $10 sampling wristband, with 100% of the event proceeds donated to the USF Alumni Association. Be sure to check them out. It's going to be a lot of fun. All away games, go to Irish 31. They've got 7 great locations all across the Bay Area, including one in Oviedo. So make sure you're out there. Tell them the Daily Stampede sent you. And for Seth and Nathan, this has been another beautiful edition, the most fun edition of the film room that we've had so far this year. And be sure to check us out. We'll have the pregame, halftime, and postgame shows this week as the Bulls are on the road facing SMU at 4 o'clock Eastern on ESPNU. Until then, be sure to check out the site. Check us out on Twitter. And, if God's helmet's for us, who can be against us?
And if you see Steeg at Irish 31, I'm told he'll have a flask of ranch soda on his hip. So just ask him to see the secret flask, and you can get some ranch soda, which I think everybody wants.
Exactly. Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.